Today I'll be scoring and ranking the Audio Technica TWX7 and TWX9 against 17 earbuds in a total of 10 categories. Here's my current leaderboard with the Technics AZ80 still in first place. You can customize the scoring as well with my spreadsheet linked below, but I'll explain more about that later. Now I've been using the X9s for about 6 months and the X7s for about a month, and you're getting some impressive quality and some pretty unique customization. But the retail price is $199 USD for the X7 and $299 for the X9. So they are on the pricier side, but let's get into category number 1, comfort. And as always, fit is different for everyone, so I'll explain my experience, but also how the buds are just designed and how it should work for most people. And I'm scoring both buds a 7.5 out of 10. It's a stem style bud and they're pretty compact overall. Both buds have the exact same ergonomics and they do work great for me. It's a bit deeper than your average stem style bud, so it doesn't have the lightest feel in the ear canal. But I don't mind the slightly deeper fit, it just works for me and I can wear them for hours with no issues. And you get some solid ear tips. The X7 include 4 sizes of a short nozzle ear tip and 4 standard nozzle sizes, where the X9 include 4 long, 3 standard and 4 short. And all the ear tips included feel very premium with a nice grip to them. If you prefer memory foam though, it might be worth grabbing some tips from today's sponsor, Sonicfoam. These high quality memory foam ear tips will shape your ear canal, improving the seal, which massively improves the noise cancelling strength, and in some cases, the sound quality as well with that improved seal. I use a large size for the Sonicfoam ear tips and they fit in both cases, but the X7 needs a bit of a squish down, but it will close and charge the earbuds. You have plenty of sizes and nozzle diameters to choose from, so click the link below to grab some for yourself. Now onto category 2, the security of the fit. And I'm giving both buds a score of 8. The grip from the ear tips and slightly deeper fit should hold the buds in place very well. I keep all the scoring pretty close here because I try not to talk about my experience, but just like I said, the design of the actual earbuds. But a deeper fit, stem bud and grippy tips should stay in securely for most ears. And they're gonna work great when running, as do most stem style earbuds with that weight distribution, holding the bud down so you don't hear too much body-borne noise from the impact you make on the ground and your own breathing. And both buds work great with weight training as well. I barely had to readjust the earbuds throughout my workout. And if you like using your earbuds when training, they both have an IPX4 sweat and water resistant rating, but the X9 actually have UV sterilization built into the case. So it's gonna clean those ear tips, a pretty rare feature in the true wireless market. Now onto category 3, case and battery life. And the X7 give you 6.5 hours with the buds, 20 hours in total, and that's with noise cancelling on. The X9, 6 hours from the buds, 24.5 hours total, but they don't say on the website if that's with noise cancelling on or noise cancelling off. I'm assuming noise cancelling on. And only the X7 have fast charge of the earbuds. It doesn't specifically say how fast it is though. Couldn't find it anywhere. But you can charge both cases wirelessly. Now the lid on the X7 is a bit flimsy, so it kind of loses place, but the case is sturdy, has a nice matte finish. The X9 case has a slightly more premium feel and that lid does lock in place. But their interesting design actually puts them as the thickest cases on the market. When you put it in your pocket, the thickest part is going to stick out, so the X9 is currently the thickest case, dethroning the Sennheiser Momentum 3 and 4. The X7 are in second last place. But that's just the thickness. The X7 case is overall a lot more compact than the X9. So overall score here is a 6.5 for both buds. Those higher ranked earbuds are giving you more total battery life, a smaller and thinner case, as well as some of them having dust and water resistance. You can compare all these nitty-gritty details in the spreadsheet link below. Now onto category 4, controls. And both buds use a combination of a physical button on the stem and touch controls on that Audio Technica logo. So combine that with the impressive customization, you can really do whatever you want with the controls because you get a single, double, triple tap and long hold on the touch controls and a single, double and triple press with the physical button. There is no long hold on the button control as that is locked into powering on or off each earbud individually. So that's also a pretty handy feature that a lot of earbuds don't have. But with each individual function, you have complete freedom to customize it to your liking. You can add volume up and down, play, pause, track forward and back, voice assistant, access quick hear-through mode, your ambient control switching, low latency mode, read out your battery level, and even optimize the noise cancelling on the X9s. You can also customize the controls when you're on a phone call, adding in volume, ambient control, and muting your microphone. The only difference here is that on the X7, you can add volume up and down to the long hold on the touch controls, where on the X9s, you can't do this. But the X7s don't have a triple tap with the touch controls for some reason. And the X9s do give you wearing detection to automatically pause and play your music when you take one or both earbuds out of your ears, where the X7s don't have this. and the wearing detection does work great. It won't turn your noise cancelling off. Let's say if you take one earbud out with noise cancelling on, the noise cancelling will stay on with the earbud that's still in your ear. And on an Android device, the X9 has voice assistant integration, so you can have things like notifications read out to your earbuds. So out of all the earbuds that I've tested, this is easily the best customization you're getting. So I'm giving the X7 an 8.5 and the X9 a 9 because they have that wearing detection. Now you don't get swipe gestures to increase or decrease your volume, which is what you see on like the AirPods Pro 2, Bose QC Ultra, Google Pixel Buds, and quite a few other earbuds. So on those earbuds, you can control everything on the one earbud. It's a little bit more intuitive, but still because you get so many options on the X7 and X9, you can pretty much do the same thing. It's just not going to be as intuitive. But now on to category 5, connectivity. And the X7 gives you Bluetooth 5.1, SBC, AAC, and LDAC high-res. The X9, Bluetooth 5.2, and they're giving you aptX and aptX adaptive high-res, which is pretty much the same quality as LDAC, 24-bit, 96 kilohertz. And I have vigorously tested all the codecs, different devices, different earbuds, aptX lossless, comparing to aptX, comparing to AAC on an iPhone. And when you're going to those high-res codecs, it makes the tiniest difference. But anyway, both earbuds give you multi-point connection to connect two devices to the earbuds at the same time. But the X7 actually have takeover. So if you play media on one device, it will automatically pause on the other device, where on the X9s, you need to pause playback before playing it on your other device. That makes sense. That's just when playing media. If you get a phone call on either bud, it's automatically going to switch over to the device that is getting the phone call. And on both pairs, you can use one earbud individually while you leave the other in the case. And when you are doing that, they're going to work in mono mode, so you hear the left and right audio channel when you're using just one earbud. And both buds also give you a low latency gaming mode. So here are the results I got in my test on iOS and Android. 400 milliseconds is fine for casual gaming. You do want to get closer to 200 milliseconds for faster reaction games like shooters. So taking all this into account, both buds get a score of 8.5. The Technica AD get a 9 because they allow you to connect 3 devices to the earbuds at the same time, and still they're the only pair that allow you to do that. Now, category 6 is call quality, and I run through 3 tests: a quiet room, a simulation loud kid setting because quite sporadic voices, and a simulation windy city with a fan and some construction and city noise. And both buds with that control customization allow you to mute your microphone on a phone call and switch between noise cancelling and transparency. And surprisingly, a lot of earbuds don't allow you to do this. And the X7 actually have 2 modes for the phone calls, a natural mode and a noise reduction mode. So I'll show you the differences. You're most likely just gonna wanna leave the noise reduction mode on because it's just a lot better at blocking out all noise. But here are the samples so you can hear it for yourself. And I'm gonna chuck in the Beats Studio Buds Plus, which is currently the highest ranked when it comes to call quality. All right, here's the call quality of the Audio Technica ATH TWX7 in a quiet room. All right, here's the call quality of the ATH TWX7 in a quiet room. All right, here's the call quality of the ATH TWX9 in a quiet room. All right, here's the Beats Studio Buds Plus in a quiet room. All right, now let's see how the microphones block out some simulation kid noise. All right, here's the call quality of the ATH TWX7 with some simulation loud kid noise. All right, here's the ATH TWX7 with some simulation loud kid noise. All right, here's a TWX9 with some simulation loud kid noise. All right, here's a Beats Studio Buds Plus with some simulation loud kid noise. All right, now I've got some city noise, construction noise, and some simulation wind. All right, here's the ATH TWX7 with some city noise, construction noise, and some simulation wind noise. All right, here's a TWX7 with some city noise, construction noise, and some simulation wind noise. All right, here's a TWX9 with some city noise, construction noise, and some simulation wind. All right, here's a Beats Studio Buds Plus with some city noise, construction noise, and some simulation wind. All right, category 7 is app customization and extra features. So mostly it's the same stuff on both apps. I'll run through the X7 app here. So you got your battery life at the top with the earbuds and case. You got your noise cancelling and transparency options, a 5-band equalizer with some presets, and you can save your own presets as well. A private timer on the earbuds, which is exclusive to the X7, and some pretty high quality soundscapes, also exclusive to the X7. And at the bottom there, you got your connected devices and your volume adjustment, which you can customize to increase the volume by smaller increments. A pretty niche thing, but it's nice to have. You've also got your talk-through customization, audio codec options, your left and right audio balance. The microphone options are only on the X7, and the X9 does have 360-degree reality audio. So I'm scoring both buds an 8. You don't get the most features, but you get some pretty niche, unique customization with the volume, especially that control customization. Now, category 8 is noise cancelling, and how I test my noise cancelling, I chuck on my soundbar and I'm playing some pretty loud simulation, plane noise and crowd noise. So I'm getting low, middle, high, consistent and inconsistent sounds. And here's my noise cancelling ranking with all the earbuds that I've tested. I currently have the X9 and X7 ranked 12th. So the X9 blocks out voices slightly better, but lets a lot of low frequency noise in. The X7 blocks out those low frequencies better, and the voices and high frequencies are slightly worse than the X9. You don't get any customization on the X7, but the X9 has plenty of different modes, and you can also optimize the noise cancelling. And I tried all the different modes in that plane noise test, but that low frequency sound still managed to come in quite easily. Now, when it comes to EQ shift, let's say your sound quality changes with noise cancelling on compared to transparency compared to noise cancelling off, and I could really barely notice any EQ shift on both pairs. But neither pair uses any wind noise reduction to stop the microphones from picking up wind, let's say you're walking outside on a windy day. But in my test, the positioning of the microphones don't pick up wind that easily, so it shouldn't be too annoying. And on both pairs, you can use noise cancelling or the transparency mode when using just one earbud at a time while you leave it in the case. Now, category 8 is the transparency mode. And I'm scoring both buds a 7 out of 10. They both work fine. You get slightly better vocal clarity on the X7, but they have slightly more occlusion, so your own voice sounds a little bit muffled. And the X9 also has this issue, it's just not as bad. You get 5 levels of customization on the X9 and a slider on the X7. And by default, they're at maximum. There's probably no point bringing it down unless you find the white noise quite annoying, because the X9 do have quite a bit of white noise, very noticeable in a quiet room. The X7 still have a bit, but it is on the lower side. And like the noise cancelling, you get no wind noise reduction if the microphones pick up too much wind. And both have a talk through mode, which you can add to the controls. This will quickly bring your volume down and turn your transparency mode on with a focus on voices. And you get some light customization with that. All right, on to the final round, sound quality. So let's start with volume. In my max volume test, the X7 got just over 110 decibels and just under 115 for the X9. So the X9 give you more than enough volume. The X7, like still at max volume, you're in hearing loss territory, but let's say you're listening to media that isn't mastered that well, or your device doesn't go as loud. 110, it's like, it's on the quieter side. So just something to keep in mind. Now, when it comes to low level listening, there's no special EQ here to boost the bass and treble at lower volumes. Only the Bose QC buds and the Google Pixel buds do this. So usually if a bud is more V-shaped, it's gonna sound better at lower volumes. These buds are very flat, so they don't sound that great at low volumes unless you EQ them, so just something to keep in mind. But now onto the sound itself, like I said, it's quite a flat tuning for at least true wireless standards. So they both use the same drivers, but there's some slight differences. So they both have a very clean, punchy bass response. The mid-range is a standout, so you get nice vocal clarity. Instrument separation is very impressive. But the mids on the X9 are boosted slightly more. So I noticed things like vocals and distorted guitars and drums just cut through a little bit more. So the mids on the X7 are still very clear, but because they fall back slightly, this allows a treble to cut through a little bit more than the X9. So things like acoustic guitars, crashes and hi-hats had nicer presence on the X7. And with the stock tuning, there's also slightly more bass on the X9. Now, I personally like a little bit of extra bass. I like my V-shaped tuning. So you do get some decent customization here on both pairs with that 5-band EQ. It would have been nice to see a 10-band EQ, but this is roughly the EQ I like to use on both pairs. A pretty dramatic bass boost and treble boost, and this really does improve the sound, making them a lot more dynamic. Just keep in mind, because the stock tuning is already pretty flat, you can only really boost the bass so much. So even if you chuck the bass all the way up, the sub bass doesn't really have too much presence, and the treble still lacks a bit of sparkle in that upper treble detail. If you're looking for that more dynamic sound, you can get that out of pairs like the Momentum 4, Technics AZ80, and Denon Pearl Pro. Most of the buds on my ranking can get like that, but those are my top 3 right now. Still, I'm scoring both buds an 8 out of 10 for their pretty unique flat tuning. I know I don't like the flat tuning, but I know a lot of people do, and it's very rare to get this kind of tuning in the true wireless market. And you still get pretty nice freedom to customize the sounds you're liking. But that wraps up all 10 categories. And before we go into the final score, keep in mind, this is just my scoring system. It's got my own bias in it, but it really does help me figure out all the very small differences between all the earbuds, because there's just tons of them. It's near impossible to keep up with. And keep in mind, this ranking is for earbuds around $100 and up. I have many different spreadsheets for cheaper earbuds and different types of earbuds. But anyway, check the link below. It's free to download. And on there you get notes for each score, specs, a call quality tab, and you can customize the scoring to favor certain categories. So you just fill out a number in the importance column, and that'll multiply that entire category, which will in turn give you a personalized final ranking. But now the final scores are in, and the X7 and X9 both finished with a score of 75 out of 100. So not too bad overall. If you're deciding between either pair, the X7 is the better value for money. It's the same score, it's a lot cheaper, and it's pretty close in overall quality. But even at that price, there are better buds you can get with a higher score, but the unique customization might be worth it for you. Sometimes it can be just one thing that turns you towards or away from an earbud. But there's no denying the Technics AZ80 are still the best overall. So if you're interested in that bud, check out my full review right here. Quick shout out to my channel members and all my supporters on Ko-Fi. I really appreciate the support. So thanks for tuning in. Stay picky. I'll see you in the next one. Bye now.